Hi, everybody. It's Justin with Epic Game Time, and I'm bringing you a list that I have been playing at my local LGS to some success, actually, and it is Naya Exert. So, as always, let's hit this display. I never remembered to do that before I start recording, but whatever. Alright, so we have 24 lands, 4 Cinder Glades, 4 Fortified Village, and 4 Inspiring Vantage. Those are our dual lands. We also have 2 Needle Spires, just because I think in this format, in Standard, there's man lands, so if you have the colors to run them, you should be running at least 2. They're a great way to recover from a board wipe, and if you just need to get that little extra bit of damage through, they're great for that as well. Then we have 3 forests, 4 mountains, and 3 plains to round it out. I ended up having to change. I was running Canopy Vista, and we ended up moving to Fortified Village because too many of my lands were coming into play tapped, and that is not okay, especially in a deck that you want to be kind of aggro with. But past that, this ends up being quite a great list with lands. Then we have in our creature base, Bloodlust Insider. I've seen a lot of Exert decks that will run 1, maybe 2 of this guy. 4 is absolutely the right number. The reason you want to run 4 Bloodlust Insiders is because you want your Glory-Bound Initiates, your Gust Walkers, your Combat Celebrants, you want them to have haste. Especially your Combat Celebrant, because normally, if I resolve a Combat Celebrant and give that thing haste, it's game. I don't think I've ever lost after resolution of Combat Celebrant with haste. Then we have, so it's so important just to be able to turn 1, slam one of these things. Then we have 4 Glory-Bound Initiate. In my opinion, it is one of the top 5 best 2-drops in Standard right now, and it's going to stay there for a while. It does everything you want it to do. It's cheap. It's a 3-1, so it's a push creature as is. If this was just a 3-1 for 2, it'd be really good, but then it has this awesome Exert that makes it a 4-4 and gives it lifelink. And with Exert, of course, we have 4 Always Watching. Non-token creatures you control get +1/+1 and have vigilance. Normally you'd see this in like human decks. We're putting it in this deck because it completely negates the drawback of Exert, and we can Exert every turn now. So 4 of those. Then we have 4 Gust Walkers, another card with Exert, another great 2-drop. So 1 in a white, it gets +1/+1 in flying. So we're looking at a 3/3 flyer after we get Always Watching down, and we're exerting every turn. Channeler Initiate is one I was iffy about at first, but then it just became better and better. It doesn't stay a 0/1 for long, which is what happens when you play it, and it fixes our mana forest quite nicely and ramps us into like Arlen Chords, Cast Out, and Glorybringers. So 4 of these is the right number, and I've really been enjoying them in the deck. Then we have 4 On-Crop Crashers. This is where my list kind of diverges from other lists. On-Crop Crasher with Always Watching is insane. So I can turn somebody's block off every turn. It helps you win the long game, honestly, because a lot of the ways to beat this deck in the past was to have your opponent clutter the board up, especially Black-Green Constrictor. That way you can't get through. Well, now, even if they play 1 or 2 big things, we can still get damage through with On-Crop Crasher. Plus, anything that has haste is really good to just push in that last bit of damage. Next up is, honestly, for me, it's one of the main win conditions of the deck. Combat Celebrant. If it's exerted, when it attacks, after all the attacks happen, untap all your other creatures you control, then there's an additional combat phase. So you exert Combat Celebrant, untap everything, and then do it again. So it acts as a mini Always Watching, and it's just a 4/1 for 3 is not bad, especially with the Bloodlust Insider. And the last creature we have, let me move this over here, is Glorybringer. We have 4 of them. It is a 5-drop, which isn't a problem, especially when we have Channeler Initiate. And it's a 4/4 with Flying Haste, and his Exert is great. With Always Watching, we can constantly be doing that, and that's really, really important. For spells, we're running 2 Arlen Chord, The reason we're running Arlencourt is her plus one lends itself really well to this deck. Also, we have 3 Cast Out, which is there's an enchantment. It removes a lot of the trouble things this deck can deal with. It will remove enchantments that are hard to deal with. Maybe there's a big creature getting our way. Great answer for a Resolved Ulamog. Great answer for a Resolved Aetherworks Marvel. Great answer for a Heart of Kirin. Also a good Planeswalker answer. So there's 3 of them in there. That's why it's there. If you're building a deck in Standard right now, you have to have an answer to Ulamog. It's absolutely necessary. So let's look at the sideboard quick. Sideboard, 3 Declaration Stone, strictly an answer to Ulamog. Also, there has been a little bit of token decks popping up here and there in the leagues, so that's kind of an answer to them. Sweltering Suns is our generic answer to zombies. We have Chandra, Torch of Defiance. Chandra is good against any of your token aggro decks. It's also very good against control, just resolving it, and they have, especially blue-red control tends to have a hard time dealing with planeswalkers. So if you're able to resolve a Chandra against a blue-red control player, they're going to have a heck of a time dealing with it. So that's what she's in here for. Heroic Intervention, I put 4 of them in here because if we're going against a player, a black-green deck, or a deck that is looking to resolve Chandra and wipe the board, I forget which Chandra it is. Let me know in the comments below, but there's a Chandra that wipes the board. Well, we have Heroic Intervention to take care of that and save our creatures. So if I think in game 2 or 3 that my opponent's going to be playing sweepers, these come in, and these can swing games just left and right, and they're really awesome. And of course, Prowling Serpapard is one of my favorite sideboard creatures that Standard has had in quite some time. It's a great card to just switch out, especially if I'm playing against control and I have all the time in the world. I'll just take out like the Channel Initiates or the On-Crop Crashers, usually the Crashers to be honest, and I'll put Prowling Serpapards in, and then my creatures can't be countered, and it makes for a lot of fun to have my opponent have a handful of counters and nothing they can do with it because of this guy. So, that is Naya Exert. I've had a lot of fun with the deck. It's now won me 2 events at my local LGS. So definitely check it out. I hope you're able to play it. And if you have any questions, ask me down in the comments below. If you like the video, hit subscribe, like, and all that jazz. Well, my name is Justin with Epic Game Time. You all have been my epic viewer, and I hope you all do something epic today. Have a great day.